When a war breaks out, the primary legal effect is a suspension or potential termination of many existing treaties and international agreements between warring nations, often leading to a significant shift in legal obligations, allowing for actions that would normally be considered illegal during peacetime, all while still needing to adhere to the principles of international humanitarian law, laws of war, which govern conduct during armed conflict. Key legal effects of war outbreak. 1. Suspension of treaties. Many treaties, especially those related to trade, cooperation, and diplomacy, can be automatically suspended between warring parties once hostilities begin. 2. Right to self-defense. Under international law, a nation attacked by another has the right to self-defense, allowing them to take military action against the aggressor. 3. International Humanitarian Law, IHL. This body of law comes into force during armed conflict, dictating how belligerents must conduct military operations, protecting civilians, and prohibiting excessive use of force. 4. Neutrality. Nations not involved in the conflict have the right to remain neutral, meaning they cannot be drawn into the war. And 5. War crimes. Actions that violate IHL during war, like targeting civilians, using prohibited weapons, and mistreatment of prisoners, can be considered war crimes and subject perpetrators to legal repercussions after the conflict. Important considerations. 1. Declaration of war. While not always necessary in modern times, a formal declaration of war can signify the legal commencement of hostilities and trigger certain legal consequences. 2. UN Security Council. The UN Security Council can take action to address threats to peace, including authorizing military intervention in certain situations. And 3. Impact on third parties. Even if a nation is not directly involved in a war, the conflict can significantly impact their legal relationships with the warring parties, including trade and diplomatic ties. The legal effects of war include the disruption of treaties and the violation of international humanitarian law. Treaties. Disruption. War can disrupt the legal relations between states, which can lead to the modification or termination of treaties. Realignment. War can radically change the basis of treaties, making it so that their original purpose can no longer be sustained. International humanitarian law. 1. Violation. War can lead to serious violations of international humanitarian law, also known as war crimes. 2. Protection. The law of war aims to protect non-combatants, prisoners of war, the wounded, and the sick. And 3. Examples of war crimes. War crimes include torture, the use of prohibited weapons, and the murder of prisoners of war. Other effects of war. 1. Displacement. War can lead to forced migration, which can negatively impact communities and individuals. 2. Psychological trauma. War can cause psychological trauma. 3. Health. War can have a catastrophic effect on the health of nations. And 4. Economic disruption. War can disrupt the economic fabric of nations.